Hello there. This is the RVXX from Audio Assault. Before we get started, I just want to hype you up for my upcoming MIDI guitar switcher pedal build. It's some really cool stuff. I'm going to be building a physical pedal and also showing you some really interesting and innovative ways to switch channels in Reaper, and nobody else has done this yet to my knowledge. I'm going to be the first to break the news on my new techniques. I'm really excited about it, but I'm waiting until I build the actual pedals, and then I'm going to do a full demo and show you how everything works. A taste of what's to come. Stay tuned and subscribe and all that. This is a first look. I have not played the amp at all, and I thought it would be fun to test it out together. The demo you just heard, I haven't recorded yet. It's a time paradox. We're going to find out how I got those tones. I don't even know what they are right now. By the end of this little segment, hopefully I will know, and I'll have something to work on for the demo. The RVXX is based on a Rev generator, I assume. I've never played a real Rev, so I don't know how close this is to the original. The question for me is, does it sound good? Do I like it? So I've loaded up here. This is just the stock settings. So that sounds pretty good, but I would like it to be a little tighter, a little more aggressive. I want to put a gate on it and just tweak the EQ a little bit, maybe give it a little more sizzle, maybe scoop the mids a little bit. So let's look first at the Stompbox sections. If we're doing any fast metal stuff, I want a pretty aggressive gate, so this works, and I just have to turn it up to get it to be where I want it. Now, I've seen this on some of the other Audio Assault plugins, their basic setup, sort of a tube screamer and this low-high boost. Let's just try out this boost first. I kind of want to push both the low and the high, so let's just see how that sounds. helping. It's not quite there yet. Let's see the tube screamer. This tone knob doesn't really do a whole lot, does it? That's sounding pretty good to me, so let's keep rolling with that then. All right, back to the amp. I'm leaving the tube screamer on. I don't really feel like it's necessary to give you a full demo of what every knob does. You pretty much know. This is more about how to dial in a good tone and how quickly can I find a tone I like. There's an aggression button too. Let's see if that is cool. Yeah, I like that, but it is sort of scooping the mids maybe too much, and I worry that that might get a little lost in the mix. It sounds cool solo, doesn't always make it work good in a mix. So let's boost those mids again. So as much as that aggression button is kind of cool, I kind of hate pressing a button that does a bunch of EQ stuff that I'm not really aware of. So let's stay away from that for now. Let's just boost up a little bit of the bass. I like to sort of cut the depth on these things, but well, let's see what the depth sounds like on this amp. I've basically got this depth knob at noon, but I'm cutting just a little bit, and it's pretty much fine at noon though. I don't like too much sub information because it just steps on the bass, and to me it sounds kind of flabby. I know some guys definitely like that big bottom speaker sound, but I think it's nice to have a tight bass. I don't want it to be weak, but I want it to be tight. And I am boosting the bass a little bit here, so. Alright, so that's pretty much giving me what I want. I might have a touch too much treble. Sometimes I prefer to boost the presence more than the treble. All depends. I think that's a pretty good starting point. I don't want to get too lost trying to EQ this into perfection, especially because we have a rack EQ too. Before we move on to the cabs, let me just demo A and B channel and see which one we like better to pick for the cab playing. So I like the B channel, but obviously it is more of a crunch channel. It's not going to be right for what we want here, but I do like that, and we can come back and check that out some more later. So here is the cab loader. It defaults to all A, and we have a Vox 30 cab. That's not going to be right, but I'll just shut up and play through these and pay attention to the screen so you can see what I'm doing. So there's a lot of cabs in here, and there's a number that I like well. Let's try this Sigma cab, DV77. That last one, what is this? ZLA, it's a C-Cow cab XC35 with a 421. Now the 421's got a lot of brightness. That's cool, but I would want to blend that. A couple that stood out to me. Let's try to find one that's kind of darker. And this is the only one from this cab, so we're gonna have to go with another cab. All right, so here is one that's kind of on the darker side. I wouldn't use this on its own really, but I'm trying to find one that doesn't have a lot of super high presence that we're gonna have to cut out, and also one that's got a good bottom beef. So the way I like to do it, I like to find one that's gonna be bright and give me really good attack, but that's maybe a little too bright, that on its own I would say is too aggressive. And then go back and find one that I would say is too dull and maybe too boomy and bassy, and then blend them. Certainly not a revolutionary technique. It's sort of the Fredman technique idea. You know, he does 257s with on-axis and off-axis so that you have a brighter one and a darker one, and you blend them. This is a similar idea, but just we can use any one we want. But I want a bright one, I want a dark one, and I want to blend them. We have a bright one, we have a dark one. Let's set this AB at noon and see how it sounds. So I think this 421 I picked was just a little too aggressive. Now there's more from this RVXX 412. Let's find a different one. Go through a few of these, see if we can narrow it down a bit. Sounds very thrashy to me. So that sounds pretty good to me. Now we've got a whole lot of impulses here and I could be here all night. Before we move on from the cabs just yet, because speakers are very important, let's check out a couple other things. I'm going to load up NADIR. Well, let's check out the default ones in NADIR and see how they sound. Here are some DV77 impulses. These are the official ones from Eminence. Now, the DV77 is quite a cool speaker, but I don't think it plays well with every single amp, and it's probably not as versatile as the V30. I think I'm liking where this is going, so let's try making it a little darker here. DV77 as well. Let's take a look at just the cabs of Archetype Gojira here. Here is the hot amp, the high gain amp. Here's the Rust amp cab. Both of those sound pretty awesome. Let's just go back to the stock cabs again. I mean, those sound good too. What if we switch this to a Mesa oversized? I'm liking those cabs. Now there's something in the mids that I don't love. Maybe we can dial it out with a little graphic EQ here. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. So that is just with a little bit of tweaking on the graphic EQ. I'm not going crazy on these. Cut a little bit of 63. That's just your low stuff. You don't need too much of that. I like sometimes to boost 250 and 500. That's kind of your muddiness range, but depending on your speakers and your amp, and it all depends on everything in the effects chain, that can be something that you might want to cut, but I often find myself liking to boost it. I prefer to boost 250 rather than like 125 because I think it gives a little more heft to the bottom end without it. It's sort of a low mid grunt rather than a super subby thing that's going to wash all over the bass. 1K kind of depends. You can boost it for some of that chainsaw sound. In this case, I wanted to sort of clean it up, get rid of a little bit of the nasalness. So I'm cutting that a little bit. I've got a little boost on 4K just for a little bit of aggression. It takes a little while to figure out how it's going to sit in a mix and sort of dial in your tones that way. And you may think that this sounds terrible and you don't like my mixes, which is fine too. You're watching me, right? It's my opinion that matters. The last thing I guess we can look at is just the delay and reverb. All right. I think this delay sounds great. I mean, it's a basic digital delay. It's got stereo panning. It gives me that 80s digital delay vibe. That's what I'm into. So I love it. Not too many options, but how many do you need? Reverb. This again seems like a pretty basic kind of reverb, but let's give it a listen. I see the default here has a little pre-delay of, I assume that's 50 milliseconds or 50%. Anyways, that pre-delay is nice. It allows your note to not be so wet at the beginning. Gives you a nice sharp attack. It almost sounds like there's kind of a shimmer thing going on there. Anyways, again, I think that reverb sounds really good. The GUI is basic, but the sound is not. The sound sounds really good. I think both the delay and the reverb are great additions to this. One thing I wish this plugin had is a tuner. Where's the tuner? I know it's not important, and some of the other Audio Assault plugins have a tuner. I just wish they would update all of the amps to include their tuner, because they have one. Just put that in all the plugins, please. I already came up with a clean preset. This must have been something I put together in like 5 minutes. We do have these Vox 30 cabs, and maybe that'll sound good with a cleaner amp. So let's try that. I like that. Maybe turn the feedback down. What about a nice slapback? Altogether, I really like the delay, the reverb, and I actually really like this B channel. Kind of clean, kind of edge of breakup, I guess. It's got some grit when I lay into it. I really like this for a crunch channel for a lead amp. I might start using this more. So I bought this, on a whim. It was $10 on sale, so I was like, sure, whatever. I'm really impressed. I really like it. And the built-in cabs are good. I'm glad they include these Vox AC30 cabs. It's actually really nice with this cleanish sound. So what's the verdict? I think it's really good. I have like the really nice Archetype Gojira. I use that a lot. It's phenomenal, but it's really expensive. Does this get you most of the way there for as little as $10 on sale? Yeah, sure it does. It's got almost as many features, not quite as fancy. It's definitely not in the same echelon as Neural DSP, but it sounds really good and it can do a lot of things. It's not going to do everything perfectly, but just consider the price. I think it punches way above its weight for $10 or $20. They have a bunch of amps too. They have a 5150 model. They have an Omega amp. I think the Hellbeast is their own thing, or maybe it's a Randall Satan or something. A bass amp that I've started using, the Duality, which I'm going to do a video on that very shortly. And I like that quite a bit. I used it on Apocalypse Fuzz demo. That was the bass tone. I thought it sounded pretty killer in there. And again, I picked that up for $10. I saw it on sale for like $7 the other day. I really like it. I would definitely recommend Audio Assault. Go check it out. Pick stuff up on sale. It's good. I mean, all the plugins are similar in their interface. I don't know which of the amps is the best. I guess you can look at these demos and see. I just don't have anything that's like a rev simulator. I think it sounds really nice. I'm really happy with the crunch sound on this, the clean sound, as well as the, you know, high gain tone. It's all really good. And the plugin's pretty much got everything except for a tuner, which hopefully they'll patch in. It's got everything you really want. It's got a ton of speakers. Sometimes some of the speakers may not be amazing, but it's got a lot to choose from, and I think what I came up with sounds good. I'd be happy to use that. So that wraps it up, I guess. You already saw how I got my rhythm tone. I've got a clean tone and a lead tone, just turning on the delay on my rhythm channel. So let's write a demo. Oh yeah, you already saw it. I'm going to have to do it next. So check out their plugins. Stay tuned for my next videos, and I will see you all soon. Cheers.